So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728, and finding out about my friend's concealed drug possession charge. Yeah, this is something that I didn't realize that a person that I knew in my life had a charge like that, and I don't know that it was a conviction, but yeah. So anyway, before I go into that, I am Earthling, yada yada yada, and I've done some things in life that I am really proud of, and sometimes I forget. I ran a newspaper on my own for a couple of years, took pictures, wrote some really probably poor articles, did the layout, distribution, everything myself. It was an interesting experience. I got a scholarship a long time ago that enabled me to get a computer science degree and subsequently a master's in business administration. I invested in the stock market and I made some money, and then subsequently lost money. I have done gymnastics and karate, and I've gone on hikes, after which my legs were a quivering mess, and that's it for me. So, my friend's drug possession charge. Well, I had a friend that I met through a friend of the family, and our friendship lasted for a number of years. We did not part ways on disagreeable terms or anything like that. It was just, I stopped calling him and he stopped calling me. But we had a lot of different activities together. We went out and met girls. We went out on hikes, outings, parties, stuff like that. It was cool. It was interesting. This guy, as far as I know, he was never someone who was violent. As a matter of fact, he seemed to completely try to avoid any kind of confrontation whatsoever. So, and he told me a lot about his life story. He wasn't somebody to inquire too much on the other end about the other person. And I guess he just wanted to keep to himself. But, I never, in my wildest dreams, would have figured that he had ever been on any kind of drug charge. And to be honest, I never really got the details of it in the end. But yeah, so the way that I found out about the fact that he had a drug charge is that one day, he had told me about his life, about how he had, left home at a pretty young age. He went to live with his father, and he'd gotten into the military. He had picked up a number of poor habits from the military in terms of, you'd be surprised, but in terms of taking care of his body, he did not learn to do a good job with that. And as a matter of fact, I guess at some point the military, came to its senses, and it was like, okay, we need everybody to be fit, and they didn't give him enough time in order to get into shape, and I guess they just forced him out of the military. He went into the private sector, and he tried to take advantage of some of the things that, in a positive way, I would imagine, some of the ways that the government supports the military, and in many ways trying to be able to access the things that were available to him through the military. It was not the best thing he could have done in his life. For example, in order to qualify for military housing, for example, you have to be making not that much money. So he kind of settled for not making that much money in order to qualify, at least on paper, to get the subsidized housing that the military provided. But that also meant that you can't have like a family there. You can't have a wife and kids and whatever else. I don't even know if you can have a girlfriend in the housing that they provide. So it's, you save a lot of money per se, but then you're not really free. But so he decided to try to get a girlfriend. He came back to his hometown, and that's how I met him. He, like I said, he was a family member to a friend of my family, and we started going out, hanging out a lot. Sometimes we'd meet girls, not as much as I would like, because I guess for him that was a kind of a threatening thing to just randomly go out talking to girls. It might not have been something that he liked, even though it worked. It's not like, we ended up in situations where people were telling us things that were not pleasant, insulting us because of, us being too forward or anything like that. But I guess it was a little bit too much, too threatening, too much on the edge for him. Anyway, one day, he I guess he came to hang out with me, pick me up, and we started talking as he was in the car, I guess, and he just lets it out that they found me with 1 kilogram of cocaine. And I was like, obviously it seemed that he thought that he had told me, or maybe he thought that he was talking to someone else. You get in the habit of talking to one person. So for example, I handle my sister. My relationship with my sister is a particular way. I might tease my sister. I might tell her certain things in a way that I would not tell someone who I have not known for as long a time. And the problem with that, of course, is that it cannot work sometimes. It backfire. Sometimes you just mistakenly say things that you shouldn't say in front of somebody else. I don't know if he caught himself or whatever, but it didn't seem like it. It seemed like he just thought that he had told me about this before. He had told me that he had had a gambling problem, and that he had pocketed some money from a job and went out and gambled and lost the money, didn't go back to the job, did not go back to the state, for example, and that that charge had followed him, and he could not get work because of that. But he never mentioned the drug aspect of it. He told me he'd, gotten caught up in some other unfortunate stuff with respect to gambling too, whereby he had gotten involved with, I think it was like rigging machines. So you'd find a way to attach, let's say, a coin, a string to a coin or a dollar bill, and you'd put it in, pull it out, and then you're still able to make the bet, even though you got back the money that you were supposed to put in. So he told me about those two things that he had been involved in, but he never mentioned the drugs. And even though he slipped and told me, I was just kind of shocked about the whole thing. So I never really asked him flat out, and I didn't really ask him anymore on that occasion to be like, to get much more information out of it. Unfortunately for him, those convictions, even the parts that he had told me about and the parts that he didn't tell me about, they were kind of haunting him, and he ended up still having that stuff haunt him from time to time. And well, I never got around to actually asking him for a full-blown explanation on the whole thing, or just kind of pretending like I knew about it. Yeah, tell me about how they found you with those drugs again. I mean, you never really went into details. Well, you see, that's exactly the thing. If he thinks that he didn't tell me, then he might, no, I made a mistake, that was not me, or some kind of thing. I would have had to say, I don't really remember. You told me all about it before, but I forget. Now, where was it that they found you with the drugs? So, I was a little bit chicken myself to get in more information about it. But all in all, this guy never stole anything from me. He never did anything like disreputable per se around me. I never saw him, as far as I can easily recall, doing anything illegal or even dishonest or anything like that. He was always honest for the most part with me, as much as you can be with another person. But clearly there were some things about me that he didn't like. And he was very non-confrontational, like I said, and that's part of the reason why our friendship ended, because I realized, you don't really want to be my friend so much. So I guess I kind of dragged it out. I just realized, the circumstances that you're in and other things that you've let slip out, I realize, okay, you've had conversations with other people about me, and I have had conversations with other people about you, so I get it, I understand. But what happened is that I knew where he lived and where he probably had gotten charged with the drug possession. I don't know why I'm slipping up like this. So I went to the criminal, what do you say, like the local government website, where you can look for charges that people might have gotten charged with. I can't think of exactly what it's called, but I went looking through the records of the, what do you call it, the attorney general or the prosecutor's files and stuff that they have online, where you can see the charges that they would have brought against somebody. I went looking in his neighborhood where I knew he lived, put in his name, and boop, there was the charge for the drugs that he told me about, as well as some other thing that he slipped and told me about, as well as other stuff that he had not, that he did tell me about. So I found both of those charges there, and the fact that I guess he would have maybe pled guilty. So it was true. I mean, it's not like he would lie to himself about that. He was talking to himself when he said, they found me with a kilogram of cocaine. It's not exactly me that he was talking to. So there it was, plain as day. And I was surprised that I'd found it. I was still surprised that it was there, but it was interesting. And by the way, I guess anybody can do stuff like that. You just look up the online records for the prosecutors for whatever area that you think someone might have gotten charged in. Like I did that for my ex-girlfriend, for example, and I was able to see that she had gotten maybe charged with by credit card companies or something. Maybe they had filed something against her, and I could see that she had gotten divorced, and some of the records from the divorce and whatever. Yeah, so that's me. That's interesting to me anyway. So yeah, that's it for me today. So have a good one. Feel free to like, subscribe, dislike, unsubscribe, look at other stuff, don't look at other stuff, the same way you'd like somebody else to do if it was you. So have a good one. Peace.